Welcome to Egg Foo. What? First and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm Mike Lisk.
Hi, everybody. Once again, welcome to another episode of Egg Food. What? I don't. Were you trying something new? Because I'm
A little
grouchy.
pause.
So
I'm trying to use
another long pregnant
the
pause.
pregnant pause thing.
Hmm.
I think that catches people's attention. See my sign in the background?
On air. You want to practice it? You want to go through it?
No. Uh, but no, I got that from a friend for Christmas. Like everything, they got to complicate shit.
Mhm.
So it's got a USB port in the back. There's no plug.
Hold
There's
on.
a
This is radio, so it's an on air sign.
Yeah, it's an on-air sign.
Yeah, like you see
So
in radio stations or broadcasters.
yeah, it was a nice little
Just
gag.
painting a picture for the audience,
Oh,
Mike.
right, yes, for the people who aren't watching our
Hey,
faces. And I
hey,
can't blame them for not watching the faces.
I'm about the fans. That's
Uh-huh,
all.
yeah, true. So anyway, it was a nice little thing he got me. But there's no plug on the thing. There's a USB port. I'm like, oh, okay, this is like maybe like a phone. You
Mm-hmm.
you you, you hook it up to the computer for a while, you charge it, you turn it on. No. I thought I had it charging all morning
But no.
when I detached it because the wire is only like about a foot long.
Mm-hmm.
When I detached it and hit the button, no go. So
Did it work well while it was plugged
it
in?
did, yeah. So so
I bet it was
so
glorious.
yeah, it was glorious. But
At 30 seconds.
it does have batteries, but you got to unscrew. There's like the tiniest Phillips screw in there to open the thing to put the batteries in. So
Mm-mm.
that will be done next week. For now, we just get
Hey, look at us. We got a project.
the on-air sign. Yeah, projects. Have them. How are you doing, sir?
Crappy.
Crappy? Okay.
It's been a weird, like, I don't know why. Yesterday, I've never done this. Yesterday, I got home from work and I was like, I'm tired. I'm gonna just put my head down.
Hmm.
And like I slept through the night. Like
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was up 9,000 times taking a whiz because I'm an
Uh-huh.
old man. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I like basically slept throughout the whole thing, which I've never done.
Yeah, I would love to do one of those sleeps. I mean, I think I'm out of my nap thing. I think
Yeah.
I've broken that. I still stay up pretty late. I was up late doing the best show last night, and
Yeah.
so I get a little charged after that. I was up pretty late.
It's like
Um,
Springsteen after one of his shows. I mean, you
yeah,
can't go
yeah,
straight to bed.
just like Bruce, just like
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah.
So, but I slept till almost 9 o'clock. Straight
Mm.
through. I'm lucky if I get 5 hours. If I get 5 good hours, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, and then I get out of the nap pattern.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the naps. The naps throw me off. That's what, I got to get out of that. I'm drinking coffee now, which I kind of like in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a hot drink guy.
Mm-hmm.
I may have talked about this in the past. I don't know if you saw the article about coffee drinkers and people who went to bitter tasting foods.
Mm-mm.
They may be psychopaths. It says
Oh,
psychopath.
you don't normally drink coffee, right?
No, I know, don't normally, but
Right.
just for all the coffee drinkers out there, you might want to look into
I
that
mean,
article. There's a study, people who drink gin. What are other bitter foods? Dark chocolate. Might be
gin is a bitter food.
it's a it's a bitter. You've never had gin before?
Have I ever had gin?
Yeah,
The drink?
yeah, gin and tonic.
Are you asking me if what?
Well, I've never really seen you drinking a lot of hard liquor.
Thank you, Mike. That's nice of you to say. Gin and tonics used to be my thing when I was living in Oxford. And whenever I spent a lot of time making mixtapes for people
Uh-huh.
that I would never send. I would just make a mixtape, sweat over it, write liner notes, listen to it with the person in mind.
Mhm.
How would they react? And then start over with another one. But for some reason, I got in a groove. I would drink gin and tonics with those for some reason.
Oh, really? Okay.
But no, I love a nice gin and tonic.
Uh-huh. Well,
I mean, I
don't
love a
love it.
bad gin and tonic. What,
Don't love it too much. You may be a psycho. Another thing I found out, lots of studies on psychopaths lately.
apparently.
Um,
Is this mail that's been forwarded to you, or
is your index finger shorter than your ring finger? No, yours look about the same.
my ring finger is slightly longer than my
Yeah,
index?
yeah, yeah.
What's yours?
Mine's slightly. Yeah, mine's slightly
Gang?
longer too.
Is this a gang sign, Mike? Is this what you're? Is it? Are you trying to say read between the lines?
Sarniak Fu, what gang?
That's right. The what?
Uh, but anyway, if your index finger is shorter than your ring finger, you also may be a psychopath. So
So I'm doubly a psychopath,
keep that in mind. Yeah,
right?
I don't know what these studies really mean.
And what is
But
a psychopath in this instance? What does it even mean?
I don't know. I guess in these times, maybe it's just
Remember the
a
episode of Only
stable
Fools and
person who can
Horses?
walk around.
You'll like it because Granddad was still there before Uncle Albert. It was a spooky Halloween
Oh
episode.
yeah, no, that was a good episode. That episode actually made me laugh out loud. That was
That's
a
one of
good
my
one.
favorites. And they
Yeah.
say, do you even know what a madman is? And Granddad's like, it's a bloke what wears women's clothes. And then he died, and you got upset because of Uncle Albert. We don't need to get into
Yeah,
that.
no, I wish I would have known that going in. I got so vested. And the same thing happened with Cheers with the coach, right?
Well, they didn't ask for those people to die, Mike.
Yeah, no, I know. I guess
Granddad and Coach didn't die just for the show.
now let's go through the other famous shows where an actor or actress passed away in a hit show.
Oh,
Of course, you got to go to The Sopranos. That was a great loss
who?
when the mother passed away.
Oh,
I
but
wish I
that wasn't was that a shock? I mean, she was older.
well,
I don't know how much more they were going to build around her.
well,
Anyway,
I thought I thought the show took a big hit
yeah,
that their first season, and then they did that weird special effect where they put her head on somebody.
yeah.
that
I don't think I started watching. It's interesting you brought it up because it is the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of attention.
I don't think I started until the second season.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that being a shock.
No,
What's another good one? Hmm.
you don't have a bunch of these ready to go.
I
I
guess
would
not.
think this would just like tick
I mean, I
tick.
don't know how many. I don't know if there's a million examples. Oh, John Ritter in the middle of that show. 8 Things I Like About You or whatever, or
Oh, okay, yeah,
Married
yeah.
My Teenage Daughter.
Hmm.
Uh, Phil Hartman,
Phil Hartman, yes, of course,
News
yeah.
Radio.
Hmm.
That was shocking.
Yeah.
Uh, See, now I'm rattling them off.
Just got to warm up, right?
Richard Beckinsale, Kate Beckinsale's father, died after production of a season of Porridge, and they had made a movie. I don't know if it was guaranteed they were going to come back and do another season of Porridge because that's just how they did these things back then. But he
Hmm.
died suddenly. He was only 31. So
Wow.
why do we start in on this?
I don't know.
Have you been? I started rewatching for the fifth time or whatever The Sopranos last week.
Yeah, I've gone through it 3 times.
Okay, I was hoping you were going to say, as someone from New Jersey, I'm above watching The Sopranos. Some sort of weird. Like Philly people can't admit they like Pats. Do Jersey people get this claim they don't like The Sopranos? Be a little snobby.
No, I've seen different some Italian Americans don't like the stereotype,
Mhm.
and they've spoken out about it.
I mean, not even to make that much sense. Just I'm real Jersey. These people don't know Jersey.
No, I
Anyway,
don't. I don't. Yeah, I don't walk around strutting that
mhm.
I'm Mr. New Jersey or anything. I only did that on that show we did, but
I beg to
that was
differ.
exaggerated for comic effect.
I disagree. I think you're Mr. Jersey
You think I'm Mr. Jersey?
in my head.
Now, there's whole parts of Jersey I don't know. I mean, it's so densely populated, and I only know sort of between Bayonne and Central Jersey and Howell.
I think that's
Uh,
what makes it better. The less you actually know, the
yeah,
better.
I'm a coastal Jersey guy. My brother went to school in South Jersey, Stockton State College, so I used to go back and forth down there, Ocean City. So yeah, the coast, I sort of know the towns. But then once I get inland, I might as well be in Wisconsin. I don't know where the hell I am. I get lost.
You're in Jersey
Yeah, well, but
still.
there's different parts of it, like, Northwest, that's almost like New York. Yeah, it's different. You got rural areas, you got cities. Yeah, Jersey kind of you got the beaches. So you got a wide variety here.
Is this a paid ad by the
Yeah,
Tourism Board of New
I'm
Jersey? Is
just
that where
going
my check
into
came
it.
from?
I like being here. I think it gives you, like I said, a wide variety of things to do.
Oy,
Uh,
oy.
but I'm not Mr. New Jersey by any stretch.
Do you remember the last where you were when you watched the final episode of The Sopranos? I thought you'd be more excited about talking about The Sopranos. You don't seem to be. That's okay.
I was alone in my
That's why I'm like. That's
apartment.
why I'm like. I don't know if it's a Jersey thing, like too cool for The
No,
Sopranos.
I didn't throw a party or anything. I was alone in my apartment which was, my standard. It was in the summer, right when it ended, because I had the windows open, and
Mhm.
right around my building, there's other buildings, and so like in the summer,
Yeah.
everybody's got their windows open, and you can hear people's sounds, and yeah, I heard somebody groan. I literally heard somebody.
Really?
Yeah, I heard a guy behind me in the building behind me, just sort of like, oh,
Oh,
like sort of like that. It's when the credits started rolling. And I think that's a fairly common Jersey reaction. I didn't know what to make of it at the time. It was sort of really, it kind of shocked me. Um,
yeah.
I mean, sort of figured it out. I didn't really need to have it explained, but I don't know. That's not exactly true to life for when those guys kill each other. They don't generally. Well, there have been instances, but it's like, usually the head guy. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean a crowded diner, and you're going to hit a guy in there with his family. I don't know. It just seemed
Yeah. It
a
was
bit of a
June.
stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote a blistering blog post about it.
Listern.
Oh seven. For some reason, I had in my head, I was annoyed. Number
Yeah.
one, I was annoyed because everybody's like, "This is the greatest show of all time. You have to watch it. It's the greatest." I mean, I had watched it since almost the beginning. I don't know
Hmm.
why I got annoyed with everybody talking about how great it was
Hmm.
instead of just being fine with it. I was like,
Hmm.
whatever. That annoyed me. And then they were the first show who would do big stretches between seasons.
Hmm.
I got annoyed by that. By the time the finale rolled around, appeared to have worked up a lot of angst over it, which was
Uh-huh.
very unwarranted. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I kind of blistered the ending, like who the fuck cares or whatever. Uh, and now, of course, I look back and yeah, if somebody told me it was the best TV show of all time, I'd have no problem saying sure. You know.
I thought it had peaks and valleys.
Mhm. You know what
Like I
else
said,
does, Mike?
yeah, life.
Life.
Okay. It was like life. It had peaks and valleys. I thought it started very strong. I love the Olivia, just Livia.
You seem to you have a big
Yeah,
thing for my mother.
yeah. I thought she was great. I thought,
Yeah,
and
she
and
was.
and she was one of the best things that I thought in the show
Mhm.
at the beginning. Her and Junior. I was partial to those,
Yeah.
the elder generation. Um, I thought that like there was a period, I think a couple seasons. One of my criticisms was that they were trying to make Tony a little more likable, um, which,
I think they always from the beginning, I think they wanted to do that, you know.
yeah, but then something shocking, he would do something shocking
Yeah.
and remind you, well, wait a second, this guy is not really a likable person, you
Right.
know? And I thought they were fairly consistent in the beginning, and then like a couple seasons in, and I think I read someplace that the actor was getting
Gandolfini?
tired. What's that? What's that?
James Gandolfini?
James Gandolfini did not like playing such a heavy, you
Hmm.
know, that it was getting to him. It was affecting to him. And I can understand that, you know, um, because then like maybe people see you on the street and think you're that character and give you a
Yeah.
hard time or whatever. So I thought they softened the character a little bit, but then I thought the last season it finished very strong, you know,
Mm.
despite the shocking ending. I thought
No
that
spoilers.
no spoilers. I mean, yeah, people can still catch up with it, but I
We
thought
can
it
we can spoil.
I thought in the last season I thought it got really good again.
Yeah.
So
It all blurs to me. I don't know if I ever thought there was too much of a dip for too long. This is how fucked up I was at the time. I was so annoyed by hipsters around the neighborhood telling me how genius the show was, like on 11th level chess stuff,
uh-huh.
that I found myself getting annoyed whenever there'd be an episode where they were just kind of setting things up and nothing would happen. Then I'd start shouting at my screen like they were doing this to test me, as opposed to just cool stuff happening every episode. Along with that wait between seasons, I thought they were doing just to fuck with me. Like I had all
You
these
were
weird
taking
things.
it too personally, huh?
I did. I had all these stupid things worked up in my head. Like they were intentionally not doing anything for an episode because, oh, then I had it worked up like the whole Will Ferrell thing of comedy, where if you just don't do anything, people will just start plastering whatever they think on that, and you'll be a genius. So I had that in my head. By doing nothing, we're supposed to assume they're geniuses. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I look back at that stuff, I'm like, what an idiot. Just love the show. That's all.
Yeah, but there was a
That
level.
was the first one to do weird things like that, where it would just disappear for a year.
Mhm.
They could do whatever they wanted, go whatever pace they wanted. So
Well, yeah, it became such
defense,
a hit. Yeah.
in my defense,
Um, but there was a higher level of hipsterdom. Do you remember what that was?
a higher level of
Yeah.
hipsterdom that I didn't even know about.
And to me, I found it. I went through this same thing with this show because the hipsters was always telling me, "Oh, this is the best show ever made." What show am I talking about?
Oh, is it on now?
No, and I think Will was one of the champions of the show. Our
Lost?
friend Will. What?
Lost? He loved that show.
Oh no, I know he was into that. I still haven't seen that show.
Is this going to be a show that angers me?
No, The
You talking
Wire.
about Will,
The
the same
Wire. The
guy?
Wire. The Wire.
Oh, The Wire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember how everybody had to say there I think it's like more highly regarded by certain hipsters than the
Yeah, you
Sopranos.
cannot say. Now, I still haven't watched The Wire.
Oh, okay.
And I have no problem believing that it's as good as people say it is.
It's good. It's a very good show.
But to your point, you can catch some people saying about The Sopranos, you cannot be a hipster. Not in mid-aughts Williamsburg, Brooklyn, without going over the top with how much you, because if you were super cool, you didn't just watch and enjoy The Wire. You got it. Like that's how,
Yeah.
right? That's how hip you
On
were.
every sociological
Yeah.
level. Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
your father owns Pennsylvania and you had this,
Yeah.
you had to, well, you get the streets, you get
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, yeah. No,
You couldn't
it's a
just
very
say,
good
yeah, I
show.
don't
I'm
know.
not knocking the show in any way.
No, no, no,
I'm
me neither.
talking about
Yeah.
fan reactions to shows, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're right. That was even more so. Nobody's ever said The Wire. Yeah, it was all right. You have to prove it more than the last guy. How much
even if
he
you don't say it's the greatest show that's ever been on television, you're going to get flack.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right about that. That's a good one. Yeah.
You know.
Even more so than The Sopranos.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well,
But
that's been my week so far. Just
mhm.
watching The Sopranos and going to sleep at 5:30. That's normal.
You're living the life, man. You're living the
Yeah.
life.
Gotta check my glucose or something.
Speaking of sympathetic bad guys, you see, that was a pretty good segue, right?
It was good. I mean, I was hoping, I was reaching out for a little TLC,
Uh-huh.
but we'll skip ahead. We'll move
I'm
along.
still I'm still going through Manhunt, which I talked about last
Oh
week.
yes.
So now
Enough
I'm
about dating.
what's
Oh,
that?
I said enough about dating.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, I'm off.
Oh,
I'm not as
yeah, okay. I wasn't ready for that.
well,
No, so we're 7 days into the search.
out of 12.
I'm halfway through the book.
All right.
I've just finished the 5 days in the pine thicket. Uh, I
Pine
can't say
Barrens? Are you saying Pine Barrens? Are you
no,
saying
no.
we should combine The Sopranos with
Well, no. I
Manhunt?
mean, it's yeah. I mean, they spent five days sleeping on the ground. And they had their Confederate spy guy who's bringing them newspapers and provisions, and they couldn't go anywhere until he was going to get them across the river
Yep. How'd
uh,
that go?
in a skiff. Well, yeah, no, I just got to that part, but
Let me tell you, it gets even funnier.
well, I was just going to say I'm not seeing the comedy angle that you brought up last week. Still not seeing that.
It's all that. Let me take care of the comedy, Mike. You go out there, you rub the
Okay.
elbows, and you get us the cash to make it.
Uh,
I'll worry about the jokes.
okay. But anyway, there's just the physical endurance that uh, Wilkes Booth and his co-conspirator they're enduring in the woods. I mean, it's April, but it's still cold. They're
Mhm.
sleeping on the ground. They can't make any noise. They're dependent on this guy
Whose
to what's
whose
that?
side are you on, Mike? Whose side?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not supposed to be sympathetic to this character. He just shot the president. But
Yeah.
it's the nature of books. They can't make like characters just like so repulsive that
Yeah.
you don't want to continue reading.
Well, that's why he reminded you every other paragraph how good looking he was.
Yeah, he's still doing that. Although after 5 days sleeping on the ground, his clothes, he's starting to look a little
Not so pretty.
not so pretty. He's losing his luster.
Not not so pretty, Hollywood.
And one of the quotes in the book, somebody's talking about the difference between an outdoorsman and an indoorsman, that John Wilkes Booth was an indoorsman.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to
Yeah.
live off the land. Although, I mean, he did ride 60 miles on a horse.
Yeah, I think somebody in the 1860s version of not living off the land would still be way different than ours.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure he could kick up a campfire and wrestle a squirrel better than you or I could. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine riding a horse for 60 miles?
No,
No,
no.
no, I couldn't either. So I'm sort of like, wow, this guy, yeah, it's a different
I mean, it's
level
not
of.
going to make me want to be that guy.
Uh, I probably wouldn't be able to move for the next several days. I'd be so
yeah.
saddle sore, right?
I mean, all the good looking talk makes me think, maybe I wish I was John Wilkes Booth. Who, based on how good looking he must have been, would you say our friend Will would say that our friend Waddy is the John Wilkes Booth of current times and how good looking he is? Would you say?
Yeah, well, you can say it, and you just did.
I
So,
mean, if Swanson ever did a book about Waddy, it would just be all about how good looking he
yeah,
is,
yeah.
right? Like
Uh-huh.
he'd barely squeeze in any info.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
But between the horse riding and the camping, I'm kind of sympathetic to him at this point. I mean, that's kind of he's not being celebrated, you know, um, and he's living on the lam. Nothing good about that. People are gunning for him. People are being rounded up and arrested. All his conspirators kind of went down pretty quickly. Um,
Those idiots. Let me do. I want to do something high concept with you for about 60 seconds. You with me?
yeah.
This is going to be. I'm John Wilkes Booth, and
Mhm.
you're his crew.
Mhm.
and this is us beforehand planning it. I'm not going to speak. I'm just going to use like a noise
Mm-hmm.
as John Wilkes Booth. All right, you ready?
Okay.
All right. You're the guys ask me questions about the planning and everything.
So we're going to kidnap the president? Where are we going to take him?
Hmm.
Or should we just shoot him?
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's doing it.
You're
I don't
supposed to go like for 6 or 8 times. Why would you
No,
stop
I don't
after
have all these
2 seconds?
questions lined up,
Why would you stop after 2 seconds?
But
This
why
is
do you
high
think he
concept.
would be that way? I mean, he's he likes talking.
I'm saying it's funny to be him as that way, not that he actually was.
Oh, okay. That's a little too high concept. Again, we've tried these high concept things, and I don't get,
It's
they're
just
too
eight
high
seconds.
concept for me.
8 seconds in, you're like,
Uh-huh.
no,
I didn't even know where it was going.
you don't have to.
No, okay,
I told you what to do.
okay.
This is incredible.
But as far as sympathetic bad guys in books, um, did you ever try and read? I mean, it's a huge book, the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich.
Mm,
No, that book. You start off with young Adolf,
hmm
and he's a struggling artist, and I'm out actually feeling sympathetic for him during that part.
hmm
And I had to put the book down. I couldn't go continue. I did not want to.
Can I suggest a reason for
I did
this?
not want to be sympathetic with the young struggling artist Adolf Hitler.
I think it's because you're human.
Hmm.
He was human.
Hmm.
I mean, literally, technically,
Yes, true.
and especially back then. Uh, yeah, I think it's important to think about that. Well, maybe some of this did have something
Right.
why he went down the road he did.
Yeah.
I think it's normal. I think you're
No,
I
it
think
is
you're a good
normal.
person.
All criminals are human beings, and of course, we share certain traits with them as humans.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I love Bill Cosby, the TV show
Hmm.
producer.
Yeah.
I don't need to love Bill Cosby, the hanging out at the clubs guy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, he
Playboy
despised
Mansion Bill.
Hitler. Yeah, well, easy, Mike. Maybe,
Wasn't he a regular?
maybe Playboy Mansion. Yeah, maybe. Uh, but yeah, I think it's normal to look at a Hitler of that age and be like, gee, what could have been?
Hmm.
I don't think
If
he
only
came
he was
boom
successful as an
gunning.
artist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like I've always made that joke about him and Jesus. Like,
Hmm.
what if Jesus had been a better carpenter?
Hmm.
Would there be Christianity?
Hmm.
Obviously, if Hitler had been a better artist.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it's important to know that these people don't come out, just gunning for whatever evil
Hmm.
they're, born to do.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's more interesting, to be
Hmm.
honest.
I saw you tweeted earlier this week
Uh-oh.
about
That's another thing. I'm sorry.
okay.
Before I go on, that's another reason I'm like out of sorts. I feel like last week was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I had all these plans with the 3-day weekend. I was like, I'm gonna make this video for Mike. I'm gonna do this video.
Hmm.
And here it is fucking Wednesday all of a sudden.
Yeah. It does seem to go fast, doesn't it?
It goes fast. Snuck up on me. All right, sorry,
Yeah.
bud.
Um, I like the your repost of a blog post from what was that, 2008?
You don't have to say repost like it's an ugly thing, Mike.
No, I'm fine with it. People are just getting to know Greg Wilson, and you've
Which
been writing this blog for how many years now?
19 years.
19 years.
Which
So
post are you
there's
talking about?
lots of material you can bring to their attention, get some new
There is.
readers. No,
There
I'm
is
all for that.
30,000 posts.
Yeah. And
Uh, which one are you talking about?
Xmas time regrets #2.
Oh, yes. My father not seeing the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Uh-huh.
Out of all of us getting to see the Pope, it's some church thing. The fact that we all got to go, and he didn't when he was Mr. Super Catholic, whereas me, who couldn't have given a shit, got to go. That's backwards.
But you told a story about singing in church.
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to go to church in Richmond a lot, as my dad would look for the Yankee Stadium of Catholic churches in the South. Uh, and
Church
yeah,
shopping. It's a thing. Yeah. Some
church
people are
shop.
not content where they are, so they'll start roaming around.
Well, in his defense, like being in the South, he's from Boston. I can understand him being a little like not
Right.
impressed by a
Yeah.
Catholic church
Yeah.
down south. I can
They didn't have
understand.
the same funding, for one.
Right. Yeah. For one, a whole different world. Uh, but there was we started going to this place afterwards called Duff's,
Mhm.
which I think was just basically a buffet, big buffet diner kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And they had these great biscuits, and I would just hoover these biscuits. And
Mhm.
my dad would always try to get us to sing in church.
Mhm.
Uh, and of course, I never would, but one day just leans over, sing for your biscuits. And I just started singing.
Sing for your biscuits.
Got those biscuits,
Yeah.
but Duff's, that was the name of it.
It's almost like right out of Righteous Gemstones. People going to diners after after church services.
Do you still watch that show? I remember seeing the pilot, and then I never got into it.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Everything's
Uh,
over the top. Yeah, it's silly,
but
but
yeah,
it's
it was always a big regret. Not a regret, because what was I going to do? I was like 7 years old. A
mhm.
bummer that out of us, my dad didn't get to see the Pope. So
That was 1979, I think.
79, that's right. He came to
Okay.
DC.
No, I remember it was a big deal, and I had a crush. I was a senior in high school that year.
Had a crush on the Pope?
No, I had a crush on this young lady who had a religious bent,
Oh,
which was sort of new. She was Catholic, and but she was, I guess, a super Catholic. It's like where I was, an 18-year-old who was kind of already done. Now that I could drive, I was
super
driving at
horny.
8.
That's what
Uh,
that is.
not only could I drive, I could also get served at bars. That's when
Right.
18 was the legal drinking limit.
Mm.
So for our first split about church, we were still required to go to church,
Hmm.
but me and my brothers sort of broke off and like, oh, we're gonna go to the 5 o'clock mass, which
Oh, the night
was
before.
no, well, no, they did have the Saturday night mass. That was 7:30 though.
Uh-huh.
Um, at the time, and but they had a 5 o'clock Sunday mass, which was great during football season because we could just go watch the football game, have a couple drinks, and then return home and pretend that like we knew what the sermon was about. We would be quizzed. We were quizzed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think somehow I would look up the gospel reading to try and suss it out. But anyway, yeah,
Five
this
5 o'clock on a Sunday. That's such a middle of the day. That's a weird day splitter. I couldn't do that.
I think they've done away with it since. That was yeah, I think a lot of people did not like doing the fun. Yeah, it was a sparsely. I think they did away with it eventually. But in singing, yeah, my father was very active in the church, and he was in the Knights of Columbus for a while. Uh, During the his funeral, there was an usher there who was pointing out that my father's name was on some sort of plaque. He'd been so active in the church. But I did get a kick out of your "Sing for Your Biscuit Boy."
Lean over, sing for your biscuits.
Uh-huh. So
And
yeah,
he
back
sang.
back
He
to
was one of
yeah.
us being in Tappahannock.
Mhm.
There were like three Catholic families, so it'd be a lot of. But he would sing,
Mhm.
which when you're a teenage boy or girl, I guess, and your father's the only one singing in church, it is horrifying. Then one day, out of the
Uh-huh.
blue, one
Uh-huh.
summer,
Oh, is that where you got your voice? You were doing some singing later on.
that's what I was singing for, not for biscuits.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then all of a sudden, one summer morning, some other guy showed up from out of nowhere. I'd never seen. and just he could sing like my dad was like
Oh yeah, you put him to shame.
my dad was like la la la. This guy came in, boom, la 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 la.
Pavarotti.
So we moved towns.
Uh-huh.
No, uh, yeah, I forget. His name was Mark something. Yeah, all of a sudden this guy dropped them, and it was like,
The
sorry, Dad.
new sensation.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of bad luck. Like for a brief shining moment, you're the Elvis
Hmm.
of this never-ending town, and then all of a sudden some new guy shows up. It's like, God damn it.
But back to this young lady. So she was very excited about the Pope. I
Mhm.
think he was in our area the closest. I think it was at Shea Stadium.
Mm.
They had a big event at Shea Stadium, and she went. I was just like, wow. Well, why would you be interested in going to that? It's just like to me at the time, it was like, well, why? It's like I didn't get it. But he was a sensation when he appeared here. I don't know how many places he went to,
Mhm.
but it was big news. And then, one of the lowest levels I've ever stooped to trying to impress a young lady. I think we went
Ooh.
to we we went to, for another class. We ended up going to New York.
You didn't go to see the Pope to
No, I
impress her?
didn't go see the Pope.
That would have
No,
impressed her.
yeah, it was just like, why? It was just like, I couldn't even imagine why would you do that? I mean, I go to church every week. I'm going to go to Shea Stadium to see this thing. It's just going to be like twice as long as a mass. I don't,
For a girl?
not
I
for
mean,
me.
yeah.
You're not, well, yeah,
I
I drew
sat
the
through a
line.
fucking Spin Doctors concert once
I,
for a
I,
woman. Come on now.
I drew, I drew the line. But for another trip, I guess we were in New York. We went to a couple places, and I guess we were near St. Patrick's. And I went in there. I bought something. I gave it to her, just trying to show that. See, I wasn't a soulless atheist. You know,
Mm.
I still have a little bit of my Catholic upbringing in me, but that did not do well. That was the end of that.
Whatever happened to her?
Uh, well, you know her. She went her way for many years, and then
Oh, okay. Okay.
I reunited with her. I guess it was our
During
20th.
your Cy Young 2004 year, your magic year.
Yeah, yeah. So we reunited at a 20th reunion, and
Hmm.
I'm still friends with her. She's a very nice person.
Not
But
not nice enough to get you to go see the Pope, though.
no, no,
Pitiful.
I drew the line there.
Yeah, by the time I was 11, I'd seen the president and the Pope. How about that?
Hmm.
Both of them through binoculars, basically, but I was there.
Yeah, I never saw a president. So you're talking about that was Reagan, right?
Hmm. Down
Yeah.
at Yorktown for the 200th celebration of the Yorktown.
Oh wow. Okay.
Friends
Was
with
there
the president. I'm friends with the Pope. We're
big
all
crowd? Big
Mexicans.
crowd?
No,
How
not
big
a
was
crowd.
that crowd?
A couple dozen, really nothing.
Couple dozen, really?
Oh, I assume it was packed. Like I said, we were in the, I'm looking through binoculars, and I remember the Pope thing. Yeah, if you wanted to go to the bathroom, it was just whiz on a tree because nobody was moving. Uh, but yeah, I
Whizzed
saw,
on a tree.
and yeah, it was a church thing. I don't know what we paid, but yeah, we all piled on a bus, drove to, you know,
I'm sure
DC.
my church had some sort of outing as well, but
Yeah, but you didn't give a
again,
damn. You didn't love the Pope
yeah,
like.
zero interest.
And now I look back, like as an adult, and I'm like, well, why didn't my dad? My dad couldn't do it because of work.
Hmm.
He was a cop. But I feel like for the Pope, he couldn't have worked, swapped some shifts or something.
Yeah, well,
But now
maybe.
I'm questioning, maybe my father wasn't Mr. Super Catholic.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that was all bullshit he drilled into me.
Hmm.
Boy, just like with people loving The Sopranos. I got my feelers up today about a lot of people bullshitting me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why my antennae are up, but sing for your biscuits.
Sing for your biscuits.
And then there was at Morrison's place, that shit Morrison's cafeteria. I refused. That was disgusting. And so, yeah, one day, 11-year-old Greggy put his foot down, said, I ain't going in there. And he's like, well, you can sit in the car and wait. I was like, see ya. So I'm in the car. Of course, it's peak July. 9,000
Good
degrees,
timing. Yeah.
asphalt, the windows are up. I mean, I guess I could have rolled them down. 900 degrees. I got my polyester on 3,000% polyester suit, my metal clip-on tie. I showed them
You were wearing a tie to church every week?
a clip-on, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the metal rusted through from my sweat.
We only did that on Easter.
Well, you've already made clear how little respect you have for the Pope. Uh, and I waited in a car. I didn't come
Hmm.
in.
Yeah,
I made my stand.
you did. Speaking of singers, did you see my yeah, it was not a definitive poll. I just sort of threw up four names of singers I liked.
Whenever I see polls, I just scan for my name and move on. I don't know.
But it was the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll voices. Did you vote in that poll?
It was John Paul and then Westerberg and who else?
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Yeah. Uh, I don't think I voted. I might have. Who won? And I'll
Paul
tell them why. I'll
Westerberg.
tell you why they're wrong.
Paul Westerberg won,
Hmm.
which, but guess who came in second?
Rod Stewart.
Yeah, he did.
Do you think John and Paul split the vote?
I don't know. Do you that's your thoughts?
I mean,
Paul
something.
Paul was last.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Because I would look. We all love Rod Stewart.
Right.
Great voice. I'm not putting him on the same as the other three. And I know it's singers, but I just put the other three up above Rod Stewart
Mhm.
in terms of musicianship. They wrote their songs.
Okay.
All right, you
All
see,
right.
you getting
That's
uneasy. Are you?
no.
So
I see. Yeah.
I like Rod Stewart. I'm not putting him on the list. The problem with this is, like Paul Westerberg's got a great voice, a great rock voice.
Mhm.
Person. I don't think he can do anything other than sing as Paul Westerberg,
Right.
which is great, but it is what it is. John and Paul are both two of the greatest singers of all time, but I would say it's a lot like just like musically. Uh, John Lennon's an incredible singer. Paul McCartney's an incredible singer, and I feel like whatever John can do, Paul could do.
Mm.
It's as good, if not better. I don't know if the same is true the opposite way. Uh, that's how I laid it all out.
So who'd be on your personal? Just you. Not you're not saying it's the definitive. Just your personal
I think
top four voices.
I got no problem with the three of them,
Okay.
Westerberg, John, and Paul.
Uh-huh. Who would you add?
Boy, I always loved Grant Hart, his voice.
Mm.
Uh, Wilson Pickett,
Hmm.
Otis Redding,
Yeah.
uh,
Aretha Franklin,
Aretha.
Ray Charles.
We should keep it to like, are we talking about like
Well, that's
band
it.
guys?
You can't narrow it all down to four. It's a ridiculous thing to
Yeah.
do. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying it's not the definitive. If you want to break it down to soul,
Mhm.
rock, you can
Yeah.
have fun doing that. I mean, I think for my personal, as far as whose music, and I'm all of mine, I would say, except for maybe one, I would say have very flawed voices.
Hmm.
I mean, I recognize that Bob Dylan,
Is what
um,
it is.
yeah, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, um, Jerry Garcia, and I would throw in Mick Jagger, who I think is, yeah, he's got to be up there with the great rock and roll singers. But
Mhm.
like I said, the three, I can understand why people don't like them at all because their voices.
Mhm.
Voices are such a subjective thing that, if you don't like a voice, that's a problem, right? If you,
That's why I
you know,
tell people I never loved Stevie Wonder. I
Mhm.
can't get through that voice. And
Well,
voice,
I don't understand. Yeah, no, I get not liking voices, but I don't understand you're not liking Stevie Wonder's voice.
thank you for
He's
being
got a
honest.
great voice. I mean, it's not like Jerry Garcia's voice. It's not like Bob Dylan's voice.
Yeah. No, I
It's
know.
on a higher level.
But that's just some voices hit people
Oh,
differently,
that's
and
true. Yeah, yeah.
so Who else would I? But like, yeah, but like nobody would say Paul Westerberg's a better singer than Otis Redding,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
but it fits his thing so perfectly. Same with Joe Strummer. Like
yeah,
you're not asking Joe Strummer to sing in your wedding band,
right.
but yeah.
It's a fun
Yeah.
thing to ponder if people want to
Any
add their
comment?
own Mount Rushmore, throw in some new names.
I would say the singer from the Happy Scene who went on to sing in Heyday, he was pretty good.
What's
Just
his name again?
Greg
Oh,
Wilson.
Greg Wilson. Okay,
It's
yeah,
me, Mike.
yeah, it's you. It's you.
You know who had a great voice. People love to give him shit because their band sold out, quote unquote, is Dave Perner. Uh Soul Asylum. He had a great voice.
You are one of his biggest champions, and I give you credit for that. You you remain loyal to David Perner,
Well,
Dave Perner. What am I
I mean,
saying?
for those records from 1984 to 95. Other than that,
Did you see the outcome of another poll I put up on Twitter, aka X, the Bagel Hole poll? Did you see that?
you got fucking slaughtered. I don't know if I was that close.
I never knew the hole in the bagel was so important to people.
I never knew there was bagels without them.
Well, technically, they're not without the hole. What happens is that in the baking process, the bagel plumps up to the point where the hole becomes closed. And
Mm-hmm.
I made that distinction to people, but no, the people spoke and they want the hole, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I know. You threw this up thinking, oh, this will be another poll. I'll embarrass Greg and my minions will flock to my defense. I know what you were thinking. And then
It
you
was
got your
about
ass handed to you.
80% did
I don't know
not
where the 20% came from, to be honest.
80% thought uh, without a hole, it's not a bagel.
And they're right.
I'm seriously thinking, when's the last time I got a bagel that had a hole in it? Because the place I go to, the bagels are very good,
Mm-hmm.
but they're plump bagels. I mean, they're kind of enormous,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I can't eat there regularly. It's like eating a loaf of bread for breakfast, you know.
Yeah.
But
I don't think those are bagels. I don't know if you're eating bagels.
well, no, for 80% of the people in this poll, they're not bagels. They're just
Yeah.
oddly shaped rolls, I guess,
Yeah.
that used to have a hole in them.
If it wasn't a hole, I would think, oh, it's not a bagel.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
My the 14th came and went without a word from my ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for asking about her.
I
Uh,
don't know. I don't want to encourage that. She's moved on.
she has
We got to
not
get
reached
we got
out.
to get you to move on now.
She has not reached out with a Facebook
Mm,
invite. I thought
that's
there'd be something magical about the big 50,
mhm,
like the universe conspiring for us to come together.
uh-huh,
Uh, I was mistaken.
mhm.
So
Well, here's some personal advice. I saw. Did you know that your toaster may be killing you?
he went doing what he loved, making toast. What
Yeah.
if you lick the fork and stick it in the
No, the smoke makers in your home, and in particular the toaster, produces more air pollution than a busy intersection.
how much toast are you making?
Well, I know you're a aficionado of toast, so
Well, thank you,
I
Mike.
mean, how much toast do you make in a week?
Not as much as I'd like.
Uh,
I still got to get that 8 slice toaster. My problem is I will go through half a loaf at least if I get going on the toast.
every
Because
morning?
I love no.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, if I made it every morning, it would be a problem because
uh-huh.
I can't stop with the toast. But
Y-
I can't imagine you would have to put the toast in there and just leave it constantly to get enough smoke to be some sort of problem. Like I don't know who would ever, even over a lifetime of making toast, there'd be some enough smoke to be deadly somehow.
Well, this study at the University of Texas at Austin says that it's what has the greatest influence on air pollution since sliced bread?
Sliced bread.
Toast, toast.
Did you make up that question?
No, I stole it from the article. Didn't you see me reading?
Yeah.
But they say if you're going to continue eating toast after this study, you should lightly crisp it. How do you how dark do you like your toast?
Medium, like nothing
Medium.
crazy.
Okay, nothing crazy. A little
Yeah,
brown.
little brown. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
nice and brown. Once it starts getting black,
Mhm.
boom, I'm out.
Yeah. All
So
right.
yeah,
Well,
I don't know who's making toast enough that it can kill them.
they say as soon as you turn on the toaster, there's chemicals being produced and let into the area from the particles in the toaster.
I think this is big. Whoever's against toaster people, they know that you
Mhm.
have a weak moral compass since you couldn't
Uh-huh.
even bother to go see the Pope as a young man. So they know they can throw whatever at you, and you're going to pass along that misinformation.
Get ready for this
Remarks
segue.
these people.
Get ready for this segue.
Uh-oh.
Butter in the news.
Oh, I like
Are you
butter.
familiar? Another TikTok sensation, of course. Are you familiar with the butter candle?
No. Am I?
It's literally a
You have my
wick.
attention.
Like Panera Bread has Panera Bread
Mhm.
has those bowls. The soup, it's in bread, and you eat the whole
Oh,
thing.
sure. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a similar concept, except it's a mound of butter with a wick in it, and you basically light it up and just start dipping bread, whatever you want to dip in butter, into this butter candle as it goes along, because it's just a huge mountain of butter melting.
So the candle's just a reason to have a mound of butter.
Yeah,
Huh. I mean, you don't need the candle. Just here's a mound of butter.
but it's melting. I guess some people like the hot butter.
I mean, sure, I'd try it. I mean, a
Yeah,
big pile of butter to go on
yeah,
my toast. Yeah. That
yeah.
because my dream has always been to have a restaurant for toast. Maybe that's a fancy way to bring around the butter, like you know how they do in the Brazilian
Well, there
steak.
you go. Yeah, yeah. You just throw the bread on a plate, and then you have the butter candle, and you
Yeah, I
just
just bring the butter around. It's like the way they slice the meat at your table. You
yeah,
flash your card. That's a
yeah.
yellow card. I would like some butter now. I come scampering over.
Hmm.
And would you like salted, unsalted, margarine? And then I just slice off what they want. Here you go. I
Are
think,
people still eating margarine? Is that still a thing?
oh, I don't know. I guess so. I don't know.
I mean,
I
remember
just,
when it was supposed to be healthier for you?
yeah.
I mean, are people still buying that line about
Oh,
margarine? No.
I just get country crock.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're a
That
crock
that
guy.
that
I
could be
like sticks of butter. Yeah.
part of my toast restaurant. That
Uh-huh.
the butter is the class part. Come
Hmm.
around. Can I cut you a pat of unsalted, please?
Uh-huh.
Something to think about, Mike.
Yeah.
For investors.
Popcorn in the news.
I mean, I saw the check I got. I don't even want to think what you got.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
As my
Eighty
nephew
twenty.
pointed
Eighty
out.
twenty.
As my nephew pointed out. What do you think Mike got?
80/20.
Probably the same as me.
Well, I do the tech work, and
Yeah. He's saying,
I, I've got extra jobs, and
okay.
I've got other things I got to
Hey,
compensate for.
you're like a duck. I don't know what's happening on the water with it. You make it look easy up top.
Uh-huh. Did you catch any of the football over the weekend?
Uh,
Or you've
other than
lost
my
interest?
Cowboys doing exactly what you'd expect the Cowboys to do this time of year. I mean, I know they want Belichick, but guys, just pretend.
Did you have to tank so badly?
Jeez.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch a minute of football. I followed along. I was like, oh, the Cowboys are playing. Boom. I think they were already down like 27-3. I think.
Yeah, it was a
They're the
sad
opposite
showing.
of the Chiefs. Every year, Cowboys start out, oh, this fine. Okay, this is the year finally, and then they tank.
Hmm.
Chiefs now, their thing is to come out limping every year.
Hmm.
Oh, they're 2-3. Oh, they're three. Oh, they're gonna, and then boom, here they are at the end of the year, always in the mix. They'll be in
Sa
the Super Bowl.
Save it for the end.
Yeah, they're the opposite of the Cowboys.
But the Eagles, I felt bad for our friend Jello Man,
Feel bad for Jello, man.
because when the Eagles make it into the playoffs, it's a big time for Jello Man in Philly. He didn't even get a hometown game. they flamed out in their their first game,
Well,
and
they
they
bombed out
lost.
the Jello man in Philly last night. Did you hear what I did, Mike?
Yeah, I see what you did. Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
bombed out the Jello man.
So Jello Man
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at times like that.
will
Jello
not
man.
get to shine this playoff season with
Yeah.
the Eagles out of it. There was an incident at the end of the game. I mean, the Eagles lost what, the last 6 out of the 7 games they played, or something.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Like, it was a classic collapse. I mean, they lost to the Giants in the last week. that,
Yeah.
that was the only highlight us Giants fans had.
Yeah,
At
they were
least
like 10-0, and then they just fell off a cliff.
yeah, they fell off a cliff.
And then Tay Taylor Swift's boyfriend or future brother-in-law may be
Yeah,
retiring.
yeah, it looked like he's retiring at the end.
Ooh.
But as the coach for the Eagles was walking off the field, Nick Sirianni, a fan, in classic Philly style, threw some popcorn at him. Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Just popcorn? That's pretty good for Philly.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. One, it's
Not
popcorn.
batteries.
Yeah. One, it's popcorn. And if you watch the clip closely, I don't even think the popcorn came close to the guy. I mean, popcorn doesn't travel. It's dispersed easily in the air. And so I don't even think one
Yeah.
colonel, one colonel hit the coach. But of course, there was security people down there, and they're flipping out. They're chasing. The chase was on to get this guy
Yeah,
for
based on
throwing.
what we know of Philly fans, popcorn is pretty, you should feel pretty good if that's what you got.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's embarrassing for Philly fans. Like, that's all he had was popcorn.
Popcorn?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
Philly
sick.
fans aren't going down for popcorn.
No, sad.
Ice,
Sad.
a
Come on. Come
car
on.
battery frozen over.
Come
Not
on,
so good.
irate Philly fans. You got to do better than
Gotta
popcorn.
do better than that.
Yeah.
Have a
So
little pride.
now this week you're going to do an exclusive report. You called it, what did you call it? The Asian hot bar? I mean, it's a buffet. You're talking about a buffet, right?
Well, that's what Wegmans calls it, Asian hot dog.
Oh, okay. So you went to Wegmans?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to a real Chinese restaurant that has like a buffet.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's really more exclusive than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was very exclusive. I thought of this on Monday because I live above a Wegman, so I was like, well, if I get down there at noon, everything should be new and fresh and keeping helpful and stuff. And it was slim pickings.
Ah,
I was like, oh well, maybe that was a rush. I'll come back because I'm just at home. I'm working from home that day. Or no, it was Monday, so we were off. So I'm just sitting around. And then I go back a couple hours later and it's still like slim picking. So wasn't the best representation I could have gotten.
mhm,
But what are you gonna do? Ended up getting, I have the video, but it's mainly some lo mein, fried rice, and pork spring rolls. They weren't egg rolls.
mhm,
Pork spring rolls, and then like some, I'll call it General Tso's crap. It was terrible.
mhm.
So that's pretty much all I got, really.
Well, that's a pretty large sampling. I mean,
That's a nice sampling, yeah.
yeah.
The pork fried rice was dried out.
Mhm.
The lo mein was tasteless. I don't know what the chicken was. The less we say about the chicken, the better.
Are these
Uh,
surprising results to you? It seems rather predictable, which is,
well, the surprising thing is the pork spring roll was actually really good.
mhm,
I'd never had pork spring roll. They were really good. So
yeah.
it was easily
One
the
out of
best.
six. 1 out of 6 items were satisfactory.
Well, still, it's better than I've gotten in the last month or two here.
I know, but I mean, you're talking about sort of the staples, lo mein, fried
Well,
rice. I mean, you're
it was,
saying, yeah. I mean, you had to know that was going to be inferior.
yeah, not just inferior, just kind of tasteless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't expecting any of it to be good,
Uh-huh.
much less the pork egg roll or
Uh, Yeah.
spring roll. So hey, it is what it is.
Okay. Well, you you did this, and I don't have any uh Chinese buffets near me. I think the nearest one was, miles away, and I'm like, I'm not driving all the way out there.
Mhm. I was
Um,
going.
in the suburbs, you're limited. I thought you were going to do a thing in the city. I thought you had something in DC that, like, some, like the Korean delis in New York, where you can just go in there, you fill up the container, and they
I
weigh it.
haven't seen anything like that around here.
No, oh, okay.
I used to love that in New York, though.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah, no, I worked near one of those, and I was going there every day.
yeah,
It was
it's
it was fantastic,
amazing. Yeah.
So I took advantage of your exclusive this week, and there was a dish that caught my eye. I've never seen this item before. Don't know that I don't think it's on any of the other takeout menus near me. Aromatic ginger shrimp.
Didn't you mention that a couple of weeks ago or months ago?
Maybe
It was,
I
yeah,
tried to, yeah.
aromatic, some bullshit. You try to slip past me. Oh, let's get shrimp. Oh, but it's aromatic.
Here's the description: lightly breaded jumbo shrimp, and well, there's the word "end" in here. I would delete. Jumbo shrimp fried until crispy. That's good to know. Then stir fried with ginger and scallion in a sweet rice wine sauce.
Sounds like a lot.
It wasn't. It was actually very simple. It reminded me of a dish I did previously called salt and black pepper shrimp, which was also this lightly battered shrimp. Very tasty. The shrimp was very tasty. And when I took the lid off, guess what? It was very aromatic as well. The smell, the
Uh,
smell hit me as I was standing above it, getting ready to take my photo. I'm like, wow, okay, they weren't kidding about the aromatic part.
in
Uh,
a good way, because I've had a couple of those recently, and it hasn't been
well, no,
tasty.
it would have floored you because of
Yeah,
you probably would have passed out. I
yeah.
think if you were hit by this smell of shrimp. But
So all of a sudden for this dish, they're like, let's make the shrimp smell way more than usual. How do they do that?
I don't know. It came with a large rice, which I did not need to put this dish on the rice.
Yeah.
I will reuse that rice for something else. I just and they weren't kidding about the jumbo shrimp. They were very large. There were
Mhm,
9 of them crammed into this thing.
mhm.
It was very filling. I only had like 4, and I was full. I mean, I did have soup beforehand, but that's kind of the norm. So I'll
Mm,
get a second I'll get a second meal out of this. Easy.
sure.
The wine sauce, it was tasty. It wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't overbearing. Definitely a step up from the goop.
Hmm.
It was a clear sauce. Tasty. There were big chunks of broccoli also thrown in there, which I like,
Hmm.
with the scallions. So overall, it was a very tasty dish.
Sounds like yours was a success.
Yeah, no, I
What
enjoyed
you
it.
giving it?
Yeah, I've got a number of shrimp dish. If you ever want to go out on your own and do more exclusives, I-
I do not.
I've got about 4 more shrimp dishes I could probably include.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, I can back
Because we're
out.
we're we're reaching a sort of I don't know if you want to call it the end point, but I guess we can go back, and if we did a pork dish for something, now we can do a chicken.
It would have
Like,
been nice if we were keeping a record of everything.
well,
I
there.
did that. I've done that for like half of them, kind of
Mhm.
petered out. But
Well, where I load the episodes, they're all listed. Well, even on Spotify, you can
yeah.
just run down the list. It's a
But in
list.
terms of what grades we gave them, like
Oh, the grades. Okay.
be cool to have a ranking.
Yeah. No, well, I know in my mind which ones were bad, which were good.
Yeah.
So, you
I
know,
mean, eventually when they make the behind the music for us on this,
the behind the music.
that will be a thing.
I don't
You
know.
know,
I think we have a long way to go.
you know which dish was our highest ranked other
That's a
than
good,
egg foo young?
yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you. I mean, I know the other way there's things like chow mein.
Well, I guess, egg foo young has got to be up there, right?
Still the number one for me.
Yeah.
I remember liking lemon chicken. That was a big one for me.
That was a horrible one for me. That was the one I got chicken fingers.
You got the chicken fingers.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of food of the week, I do have a dish I'm anxious to try. Uh, and maybe everybody can get excited with me. Bojangles, my beloved Bojangles, who, as you know, is my favorite fried chicken and favorite biscuit.
Never been to one.
They're tough. They're very southern.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to ease themselves up there.
Yeah, what's taking them
It's
so
a
long? I
Wawa in
mean,
my hometown.
Popeyes came up.
There's a
Popeyes came up.
Wawa in my hometown now, so I think Bo's can start moving up north.
I mean, Popeyes
Uh,
blazed the trail, and it seems
yeah,
like the kernel's going down up here. Jersey, it's
yeah,
my town lost we had one for a while and it's gone.
yeah. I think we're ready for both. But now apparently they have like their version of the sad, depressing bowl from KFC.
Yeah.
It's their sausage and rice,
That
which
sounds good.
is fantastic.
Mm.
Their sausage and rice has huge chunks of sausage, and then they mix in chunks of chicken, cheese.
Is that from Louisiana too? Bojangles? Where did they start out?
They started, I think, Winston-Salem. I think,
Really?
I think Carolina, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and it looks everything you love about Bo's is thrown into a dish. I will be trying it. See
You've
how
got
it
one
is.
nearby, or you're going to travel?
I've had a Bojangles. There's one nearby. I'm sure I was blathering about this like a year ago. I went on a run with them 5 or 6 straight times. And this is Uber Eats. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like 20 or 30 minutes taking.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the biscuits were like the greatest biscuits I'd ever had in my life.
Really? Wow. Okay. That's high
I don't
praise coming
know.
from you, who,
Yeah. I
who
don't know
had
if
to
this
sing
is
for your biscuits at one time.
literally sing to Jesus from our biscuits.
Sing for those damn biscuits.
And yeah, to the point where I'd order them just to see like, all right, they can't keep it up. Yeah, eventually it's got to break. They went like 7 or 8 Uber Eats trips. They were off the charts amazing. So,
Mm.
so I'm happy to try this one. So for Bose, I will sing.
Mhm.
Not for Jesus, but for Bojangles.
Do you follow any food related Instagram accounts?
No, the blog I followed for 10 years is brand eating.
Hmm.
I don't know if I really have any food Instagrams. That's interesting.
There's some
Usually
there's some really
it's just Egg for What and Elizabeth Hurley. That's what I follow.
yeah. I also follow Elizabeth Hurley. I was always a fan of hers.
Yeah, I
And
like
her
those
Instagram are, very,
yeah,
the
the
photos are just
fashions
like
that she's
professional
selling.
photos.
Yeah, the products she's promoting are always of interest to me.
Yes.
No
I
purchases yet, but
yeah. But no, there's some really entertaining Instagram accounts. Of course, our man Derry X at
mhm,
Derry X, I believe, is his
that's a good one.
Instagram. But I guess maybe following Jerry, you may be interested. You get all those.
Yeah.
So I've started following some food Instagram accounts. So now I'm getting
I mean, I just learned about Dice being on Instagram through you, so I'm way behind.
yeah. But I follow a bunch of my favorite food is Italian food. So I like seeing people cooking Italian food. There's a guy who follows his I think grandmother maybe in the kitchen, and she's doing all these
Mhm.
recipes, and that's great. But then there's a couple that really stand out. I don't know if you heard of. There's one called at Chef Reactions.
Liz Hurley makes sandwiches? Is that what you said?
No, no, this is a guy. Whether he was a real chef or not.
Oh, the people send him whack shit and he just kind of talks.
Exactly. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay, I know that guy. Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
entertaining, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's funny, yeah.
He's almost got a yeah. a million followers. He's got
Of course he does.
940.
He's not us. Of course he has a
Yeah,
million.
I know.
If you're not us, you started a million.
946,000
Jesus.
followers. Yeah, it's very funny. I mean, he's on one side of the screen,
Yeah.
people doing these unbelievable things. It's like, yeah, I'm not on TikTok, so I guess people just go there and make these horrible dishes. And he does a little recap of what they're doing and his reactions. Very funny. And then he'll give it a rating at the end, 1 to 10. And almost all of them are zeros.
Yeah, they're all disgusting.
But the funniest part is he'll end it with, "I would try it." You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes he surprises you. He would eat something that is absolutely garbage, but then sometimes he does say, "No, I would not eat that."
Do you think people just make shit now so that he'll get it and then review it?
I think people do those videos because I think that's a trend. I think if you make something so outlandish, that's why one way of distinguishing yourself, I guess, on TikTok.
Yeah,
You
but you
know,
still have to eat it. Like,
well, you don't know.
anybody can
They
just
don't
make up
show
stuff
them
that's
sitting
crazy.
down eating the thing. I mean, I saw one of the videos was like a woman making a steak in a jar. She
Mhm.
just stuck the steak in a jar and she put the seasoning in and boiled it or something. And it was just like, why would you even do that? It was like more work than it was worth.
Mhm.
And his reactions were funny. So it was a great video.
But at least
But
that, like, you'd eventually eat the steak. Whereas sometimes I see, and it looks like people just threw shit together for it to be shit.
oh yeah, there's
Hey, there's
people
no
who try to
integrity there.
make lasagna, the weird things, and they're always just throwing bags of cheese on stuff. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's, why would you make something like that? I mean, I sometimes I do think, well, maybe one day he'll see your your cheese. You should push that. Maybe follow him and then like maybe instant message him and say, hey, have you seen this one?
My cheese it lasagna?
Your cheese at lasagna.
See, if he starts shitting on that, I'll get upset.
No, but that'll be a hit though. I mean, you'll get some follows.
What's his name?
At Chef Reactions.
Chef Reactions.
And then there's this other guy I really like. He's got 273,000 followers. I'm Landon. IMLANDN. No ON. At I'm Landon. His real name is Landon Bridges.
Mhm.
He's a young guy. He's got like long hair. He looks like he works in a garage or something. Works, but he's got this great style. He's just like throwing the dishes around onto this. He's got the island in his
Mhm.
kitchen, and he's like always just like throwing the food into the frying pan. He's just got like a great style. The videos are well edited, and
Mhm.
he's got like a funny sense of humor. Um, he doesn't give you the same reaction at the end when he eats the dish. He usually has some sort of he'll surprise you there. But
Mhm.
his style of just like yeah, just let's make something, and he's throwing the food around and the dishes around. Very, very entertaining.
Hmm.
Um,
No less early on his.
well, you might like this young lady. She's very pretty. Her name, she's at La Italian Princess.
You think I just know every hot chick on the internet? That's what I
Well,
just catalog these
well,
women all
that's what
day.
Instagram is. Let's face it. If
Yeah.
you're an attractive young lady, or even older ladies, I see lots of. I'm
Yeah.
glad. Some people are getting validation.
Yeah. Like,
They,
here's
they
look at my new sneakers. I'm gonna hold them up. Just kidding. They're on my
well, some
shoes
of them
while I'm
do
turning
have
around, bent
businesses, so
over.
they're selling the clothes and stuff, and they're
Mhm.
modeling the clothes that they're selling.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that. I mean, that's I don't know what percentage, but I'm thinking it's got to be a pretty large percentage. But La Italian Princess, I like. I think she's up in upstate New York. She works at an Italian deli, so a lot of her videos are at the deli, um, or with her mother in the kitchen. She's making dishes. Actually, I think it's her grandmother, but very entertaining.
Hmm.
So those are three of my favorite food related Instagram accounts. If you have some good ones, yeah, let me know. I put them in the.
It's
Wow,
funny, as much as I love
look how big my
food
finger
porn,
looks.
I don't really have any food stuff on Insta.
Well, you
I,
check those three out. Well, you knew the one, so check the other two out. You might enjoy them.
I might. I might not.
You can give us your reviews next week.
Hey, I forgot. I also forgot what's the name of the book you mentioned last week? Something about hotels.
Oh, Up in the Old Hotel,
What's it
Joseph Mitchell.
up in the old hotel?
Yeah, it's old New York stories.
Yeah.
He wrote
Okay.
for the New Yorker. He was actually from North Carolina. I think there are some. I think there may be a little section about North Carolina stuff.
You write about Bojangles? Or
No,
Liz Hurley?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh.
He passed away before I think
You think should
before either of them was
sponsor?
gone.
You think
Yeah,
should sponsor Egg Foo what?
yeah. No, I
What if
think
we
he's.
said Liz? I call her Liz. We want you to sponsor Egg Foo what? All you have to do for this week is try to eat as much of this 10 pounds of egg foo what as you can
Mhm.
in a bikini.
Go
Make,
for it. I'm not
make
going
you
to
up for it?
stop you. Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think it would cost that? What do you think? Is
Does
there
she
a
ever?
number you could hear that
The
you'd be
question
shocked at?
the question is she ever not wearing a bikini? I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen her any of her
Dropping bombs,
Instagram
Mike.
posts where she's not wearing a bikini.
Well, she's always selling. I mean, it's always
Is she selling bikini? She has a bikini line.
selling something. And let me tell you what, Mike, I'm buying.
Back to Joseph Mitchell.
I mean, you got to ruin it for everybody.
He was sort of a legend at the New Yorker because he wrote all this great stuff. I guess it was the 30s, 40s in there. But
Hmm.
then he was still employed by the New Yorker. But then, like maybe the last 20 years of his career at the New Yorker, he didn't write anything. But he was still kept on there because he was such a legend.
Hmm.
And there's a book about that era. I can't think of the name of the title, but it's all just about the New Yorker during its peak years. They talk
Hmm.
about Joseph Mitchell and some of the other. I think the author's name was I don't know. Brendan Gill, is that
Hmm.
Brendan something? I don't know.
Sorry, Brendan.
I'll research it and bring it up next week. But anyway, so
Oh,
it goes without saying,
he's reaching for something.
it's that
Is it a
moment in the
record
show.
album?
It's that moment in the show.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
We call this Mike desperately wants to join the world of vinyl sharers on YouTube.
no, 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 that's another idea. We'll talk about that later. I didn't. We're not doing that today.
Oh,
Oh,
excuse me.
this is this week's fortune cookie.
Hmm.
An hour with friends is worth more than 10 with strangers.
What if those 10 strangers are like at a bank and they're trying to give you all this money?
Because we know that happens all the time, right?
I mean, yeah, if I'm an hour with a friend, that's better than standing in a room with 10 strangers. Sure.
For 10 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's true, I guess, but
Uh-huh.
it's strange. You wouldn't think to compare the two.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be sitting there in the room with 10 people going, I wish one of these was one of my
Yeah.
friends.
Why would you spend 10 hours with strangers? Well,
First of all, why you would, yeah. And second of all, it's not like when you're hanging out with a buddy, you're like, wow, this is better than if I was with 10 strangers right now.
mm-hmm.
So
Unless
even
you're,
though it's a good sentiment, I'm
yeah,
going to rip it to shreds.
yeah. Maybe that's for people who hang out in opium dens.
Opium den. I don't even know if that's a real thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
The opium den and the ballroom gin, the
People would go into the
chair, and the
opium
Belmont chair playing violin.
den and just spend the whole day there in a delirium. You never saw McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
No, I was singing the card cheat off London Calling. From the opium den and the barroom gin and the
Oh, there you
Belmont
go.
chair
Yeah.
playing violin.
Okay.
The gamblers. Oh, I am a good singer. Whoa. What if every time I sang biscuits did start appearing? I don't know.
Anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I feel like I was low energy this week, buddy. I
That's
feel
all
like I need
right.
to apologize. Out of
We
sorts. I don't know. Maybe it's
we
the
covered a few topics. We kept it brief. Maybe that's the way to go. I mean, these super long videos may not be the best to get the word out.
I don't
People
know.
people see 2 hours. They're like,
I
do
don't
I
know.
want to spend 2 hours with these two?
I don't
And
know.
they
Usually,
just
usually I feel like my energy's off this
that's
week.
all right, you know. Uh,
You
don't
want to
worry about it.
try the our booth thing again? You be the other guys. Let's see if it. Come on,
I'm not trying that again.
come on.
How many
I'm gonna
times
be sad the rest of the night.
how
Come on.
many times do we have to fail? I
Well,
mean,
so far just the once.
if you're gonna be John Wilkes Booth, you should be making some speeches.
All right, let's do
I'm
this.
not thinking he's like a laconic guy.
If we get through 4 questions without you laughing, we can
Mhm.
stop.
All
Four
right.
questions. All right.
You know where they took his body?
Mm.
They took it out of the theater and brought it across the street.
Mm.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Ah,
I
I
can't
was
do it.
laughing. That was great. I was dying.
No, yeah, I don't agree, but people can comment if they think this is something we should pursue any
I
further.
didn't say pursue it. I said thought it'd be funny. John
Yeah.
Booth just said, You couldn't
Yeah.
get past 2 questions again.
No, no.
Was it because I was starting laughing and you
No,
got
it's
upset?
because I think the listener's time is precious and I do not
Oh,
I do
here
not
we go.
I do not want to waste their time
All right.
anymore.
All right. Well,
We gave them a taste. We gave them a taste. They can,
well,
if they want
I'm gonna,
more of it, the fans will let us know.
I'm gonna be bummed for the next week then. But thanks everybody for listening. Chime in with those comments and everything, and
Hit the
send us any
like,
question for Mike's for some life advice if you'd like. And
hit this. No, I think the life advice thing has flamed out. I like your commitment to it, but
can it flame out if it was
I
never
think
on
people have
flame?
established that they don't need life advice from us.
I think they're coming around.
Mhm.
I think they know to ask.
I'd like to encourage people. We're almost at 100 reviews on iTunes.
Oh,
If you can weigh in with a review,
but
good
not
or
if it's gonna
bad, good or
not if
bad. I
it's gonna
mean,
drop our rating down below a 4.8.
good or bad. The reviews are very nice, and I enjoy them, and
Mm,
I appreciate all the kind words.
very nice.
Yes.
Hey, I meant to do this last week. Well, he's laid up a little shout out to Jeff. He's a fan of ours. He's been laid up with his ACL.
Oh,
So he's back
oh, is he
slowly but
really?
surely.
So you got like
Uh,
a boot or something?
he had a big brace today, and I think it's gonna be slow going for a while, but
Yeah, that's a long recovery.
long recovery. So a little shout out to Jeff.
Hang in
Hopefully
there,
a couple
Jeff.
of these episodes kept him nice and entertained
Yeah.
during while he was recovering.
No, a friend of mine had an ACL injury, and it was a long process to heal.
Yeah.
So hang
Our
in there,
friend,
Jeff.
our friend, hang in there, Jeff. Our friend, we share a friend who had one like toward first game of the softball season, tore his ACL, never missed a game. Come every week, he'd be bringing up beers from the nest. He's on his crutches, didn't miss a week. You remember who
Who
that was?
who was that?
Never was able to play for the rest of the year. I'll
But
give you, according to Will, he's the most handsome man ever.
I don't remember him injuring himself. Yeah.
Body, yeah, he was
Yeah.
out for like a whole year.
Is
Maybe
that
there's a couple seasons after you left,
yeah, I
but
was just gonna say.
yeah, he never missed a Sunday.
Wow. Give him credit for
Don't
that.
don't tell his wife that because I don't think she was a big fan of it. But uh, the skipper, the skipper
The
made him
sk-
I kept insisting he come out every week, for the
Moral support. Yeah.
moral support of the troops. So,
Yeah. Wow. That's
but
very
yeah,
nice of him.
so yeah, hang in there, Jeff. So
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
I'll be back higher energy next week, Mike. I'm sorry, I don't know
Thanks.
what happened.
All
So,
right.
thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Mm.